So it's like nice to kind of like have a podcast based around that.
Something like mature?
Not mature.
Then what?
It's like fun.
I don't know. I went to sleep one night, had a dream, woke up in the middle of the night, literally had a logo and everything.
Because your dad was successful,
Yeah.
was there pressure on you to be successful too? Because
That's a good
for
question.
me,
100%.
like, we don't really have anyone successful in our family. There's pressure of failing.
And my mindset was, money is bad. It was from my mum. And from my dad, money is great, but it means you work hard and you don't see your family.
My parents got divorced when I was a bit younger, and I was the eldest.
Yeah.
So I was the one that was neglected by given responsibilities too early. You went the one way. Are you crying? All right. I still haven't figured out how I'm going to start the podcast.
Okay.
So like the last one we did, we just went in naturally. So we're just kind of going naturally.
I'm in.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what this podcast is about first, and then we can get into it.
Yeah, I don't even know what it's about.
Because I haven't released
Why did I
anything.
come?
Because I haven't released anything, it's like I have to explain it at the beginning.
Yeah.
So this is the second one that I have to explain it again. But basically, the podcast is called Inner Child.
Okay.
And it's kind of looking into how you was as a child and how it shapes you today, or how it shaped you to be who you are today.
Totally understand it as
And
well.
it's kind of like seeing where the link is. And sometimes some of us not realize where the link is. So it's kind of a way to figure out, like, did your childhood affect how you are today? Any, like, the success you have today and the way you raise your kids and things like that.
Yeah, 100%.
So the podcast is called Inner Child. Or Our Inner Child, or The Inner Child. I'm still figuring it out.
I didn't know you were like this.
I know.
This is nice.
I know. The idea just came out of like random, but that's basically what
I like it.
it is. Because I'm quite childish sometimes. So it's like nice to kind of like have a podcast based around that.
Something like mature, you mean?
Yeah. Not mature.
Then what?
It's like fun.
Ah, okay. This
Yeah.
is quite mature though. I think this
You
is
like
quite,
it?
yeah. I feel this is a mature conversation.
I think it's gonna be up and down.
Okay.
It's definitely gonna be up and down.
Depends on his questions.
It's definitely gonna be up and down.
Okay.
But okay, so we have Nadia Shah, as I would say, if you're Irish, Shah. We have Nadia Shah here.
Shah.
For those that don't know you,
Yeah.
who would you say you are, and what do you do?
Oh, right. Okay. So I'm a mom. I'm 36, which you also recently found out, right?
Yeah.
I'm 36. I'm married. I'm Muslim. I'm half British. I'm half Pakistani. Raised in Ireland. Consider myself Irish. And I grew up with kind of like with an entrepreneurial mindset because of my dad. I've had his influence throughout my life. And I currently have a burger brand called Drip Burgers, and that's kind of what my life is about at the moment. Pushing that, progressing that, and trying to be successful with it, basically. And it's doing well at the moment, so I'm happy. And before that, I would say I was creative, and I still am. I studied art. I'm very business-minded. I love sports.
Yeah, I know that for sure.
Yeah. And family business was hospitality.
Okay.
So hospitality and F&B. So I've been around food for my entire life since like teens, growing up with my dad, having multiple restaurants and then hotels as well, and then working within that. So that's kind of like a summary of what I've done.
That kind of takes me into the next part I wanted to see. So before we kind of dive into like Drip Burger and everything else, I want to ask you about like your earliest food related memory as a child. Like something that's kind of that you may feel like has influenced Drip Burger in some sense, or brought you to where you are now.
Yeah,
like
I didn't really think about this, but it was funny when I was doing a biography for my dad. I've always done his profiles throughout our life. Like I'll always do the write-up for him, and he always needs to have a profile, right? So
your dad's Pakistani, right?
yeah, he's Pakistani, but
Your
he
mum's Irish.
moved to London when he was 16, and we've been living in Ireland since I think he was in his early 20s. So my entire life.
Was in Ireland.
Yeah, everything.
Okay.
So he actually started a burger chain.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
What was it called?
It was called Mr. Burger.
Okay, nice.
But before it was called Mr. Burger, it was called Shasha's, which funnily enough, he just, now he's back in Ireland after spending 20 years in Dubai. And he opened a new company, the head of everything that he's doing. And his parent company is called Shashas Limited. It's like he just went back. And we're doing like a whole like loop.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had a burger chain, and the burger chain is where my mom used to work, where my uncle also met my auntie who's Irish. They met in there. Also my mom, and so my parents are divorced. My mom met my stepdad's father at one of the restaurants, and she didn't know it until now. Yeah, it's actually really, really weird. He was
your dad's restaurant?
At my dad's burger restaurant on the main street in Dublin, on O'Connell Street, right?
Oh, wow.
And his dad, my stepdad's father, and my stepdad were putting up our signage that said Shashas at the time. We're actually installing it.
He was the one installing it?
He was the one installing it,
wow.
because they were part of like an advertising printing company at the time, and he worked in the newspaper for years. And so he was there putting up the sign, and then, 20 years or something, 15 years later, they're married.
That's crazy.
It is.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, my dad had 12, they're like fast food, so more like a Burger King. They were actually right opposite Burger Kings on all the main streets in Dublin, and he had like 12 of those, which was amazing.
So would you say that's like your first kind of food-related kind of like memory?
That's the first restaurants that he had, yeah, if you think about it that way.
But was there not like something that you was like for me, for example, I know everyone sees it on my Instagram stories and stuff, but it's always been like Dixie, you know?
What?
You don't know Dixie
No.
yet, you're in Ireland. Ireland doesn't have all the best fried chicken places.
Oh,
but
okay.
Do you have Chicken Cottage?
No.
Do you have anything that's fried chicken? Sam's?
No. Nothing that was halal.
Really? No favorites?
So all my dad's restaurants were halal. These were the only places you can eat in Ireland that were halal. So we had a great life. All of whatever he opened like burger places, steakhouses, cafe, whatever. Everything we could eat halal. Going outside of his restaurants, we couldn't eat anywhere.
Really?
Like we were just eating like pescatarian all the time.
Nothing at all?
No.
How about now though? It must be
now, yeah, there's more because it's a much bigger
place.
community. But like when we were in Ireland, I was in the first Muslim national school, the first ever Muslim school in the country.
Really?
The first. And our school,
How many years ago was this?
Our classroom, so the mosque was a church, converted to a mosque.
Okay.
And this is in my time. And the first ever school was a primary or kindergarten, and it was a porta cabin on the grounds of the mosque. And then eventually, because it grew after that, became too big. And then actually funny, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, I think, or Khalifa. Mohammed bin Rashid Khalifa. Okay. Sorry that I don't know this properly. He's the one who sponsored the building of the actual school now, the big one, and the big mosque in Ireland. Yeah, so that was the very first one, and then he's built the Islamic Community Centre in Ireland, and that was my school then. So we went from there to that school.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So a lot has changed.
Yeah, I was destined to be in this country.
Well, look. So let me move on to the next question, which is I think the important one, which is going to kind of take us through the rest of this, the journey of this podcast, which is how did Drip Burger kind of come about?
So me and my best friend, we wanted to start a business, but we wanted to do it in Bali.
Where?
Bali.
Really?
Yeah, I just wanted to like travel and.
Is it before you got married or after?
No, this is during. Yeah, we don't know how it was going to work, but like it was going to happen. We were just going to like set up a business. We wanted to do something somewhere where we like enjoyed life, like loved. We were in love with Bali. So we made like 3 different trips there, and we were looking at a laundry business and a couple other things. And then COVID, right? So like COVID kind of literally sideswiped, I think like a year's worth of work. Going back in, like we did a lot of work. And then we're like, oh man, COVID. And then anything I was working on was still with the family business, but everything related to family business was now moved to Ireland. So I was like back and forth, and everything over there stopped with COVID, like completely stopped. I mean, if anywhere was hit worse, there was nowhere that was hit worse. It was like Ireland. Ireland shut down. Yeah, like other countries were more lenient. They were just so like by the book. So there was nothing to do. I was like, what do I do now with my time? I'm so not used to not working. So I think things lightened up a little bit, and then I was just like, I don't know, I went to sleep one night, had a dream, woke up in the middle of the night, literally had a logo and everything, had a name.
From your dream?
From my dream. I wrote down, if you look at the current logo, that was just like a remake of it's a little bit, the first logo is a little bit different.
Okay.
But not too much, but it was a handwritten, like, look and a drawing. I drew the logo, wrote down the name, everything, and then went back to sleep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then I woke up and the next day, I think I was talking to Jamila and I was like, look, we're not going to get to Bali anytime soon. So like, why don't we just like work on something we know? I know food at least. Turns out I don't know food in Dubai. I know food at least. Huh?
What makes you say that?
Because it's a totally different market. Like, it's been hard. I picked like the most competitive type of food that you could probably choose.
But I also feel like here it kind of becomes like the quality overcomes everything else.
Yeah.
I feel like if you have the best quality and something unique about
you still have to reach your customers.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's so much in the market. Like, there's so much competition in the market. So how do you reach them? That whole marketing side. I don't think, like, I've worked in marketing. I understand it to a decent extent, but it's a totally different game when you're doing it for food. The advertising, blah, blah, blah. There's just, I don't know, so many things to navigate. I think I've struggled with that the most the entire way through this business, is the marketing side. So many things we were doing right at times, and then it wasn't going right. And to make your margins. So when I'm saying it's not working, it's not that we didn't get like attention. It's not that we didn't make sales. It was that we were not making money. At the end of the day, what's a business for? It's to make money, to have something to live on, to enjoy it. You don't want to be stressed, and you just don't have enough margin there. Like, for the amount that you have to spend on marketing going in, or for the amount that you need to have upfront to really like push it. And at the end of the day, if you look at like all the big burger brands that are doing it well, they came in with like money. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You can tell like their marketing has been crazy.
Their marketing is probably far better than their burgers.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'll say it or not, but like, I don't rate a lot of the big burger brands. I rate their marketing and I rate like a lot of other things, like locations around them, like lots of other things.
Like, the brand itself is amazing, but I think the food doesn't match what the brand is.
Yeah, like if you actually taste the burger, if you taste the meat, and the whole thing come together, then the price points, like there's so many things. I just feel like it just hits the mark. It doesn't hit the mark. And then obviously being a burger connoisseur now at this point, after we made our burgers, I went and I tasted every other burger here, and then I was like, nah, this is not good. This is not good. Tried everything, but like then I really judged. Whereas before I didn't have as much of a comment. I just know that like I went to a couple places that was probably one of the most famous ones here, and I just didn't like it 3 times in a row. And I thought, nah, because their marketing is so good. I actually thought to myself, let me try it again. Maybe it was wrong. And I went back and I tried it again, had the same reaction, and then it stuck with me. And then the 3rd time, I still went back 3 times. 3rd time, I went, no, this is definitely not good. I'm 100% now.
Okay, so basically, you had a dream. Yeah. I came up with a logo in your dream. You felt like the burger scene in the UAE wasn't to a standard that you hope it would be, and so Drip Burger came about to fill in that gap. And the struggle you're having is just the marketing. Is that what you're trying to say?
In a way, yeah. Like, I wouldn't say it wasn't up to the standard. The standard's very high, and there's a lot of competition. Standard is high. It was just, the reason why then the burger concept came about was I was actually planning on building a different brand here that I had created in Ireland, and it was in 2 of the malls there. It was called Philly's Kitchen. And it's like a steak concept that it's made fresh. You cook it in front of the customer on the grill, sirloin steak, etc.
Nice.
Really nice. Yeah, but in a food court, right? It's like that kind of a setup. A bit of a street food vibe. So I went to the malls here to go and look for a place for it. And I was in MOE. I was in their second food court because that place was, now, they switched so many things. I don't know if you were here before.
Yeah, I wasn't here before,
MOE, the old cinema side used to be the place in the side. And same for that food court used to be like the big food court. And then the other one was just kind of usually for people that work in the mall. And you didn't even know it existed.
Okay.
I went in there and then there was a few spots. And I went, I'm not convinced on like steaks, cheesesteaks, Philly cheesesteaks, like really doing a thing here. You know, like Charlie's is there, but are they really into like the whole like good quality? Is this the crowd that's coming into this? And I rethought it. And Freddy's was there and it had closed down. Freddy's is a really nice burger brand, but they'd closed down and it was just at the front. And I just looked around and I said like, well, there's no gourmet burger brand here, and there's also no one who's doing burgers like a little bit different. Like it's always the same American style burger. It's just smashed patty, plastic cheese, a sauce. You know, everything is the same.
You have your own sauce, right?
Yeah, we have our own sauces. We use real cheese, like cheddar cheese from Ireland, from England, you know, like proper good stuff. Like, you know the difference in the taste, right?
I mean, I hope I do.
Irish butter, like we use all of that. Then it just went from there, like going to lots of different restaurants, trying out different things, going, oh, we need a shakshuka burger. You know what I mean? This is like staple Dubai breakfast, but we need a burger in this. And, you know, just lots of things like that. So my initial menu was a bit crazy, but yeah, it was nice.
Turned down now.
Huh?
It's toned down now?
I've definitely toned it down. Yeah. It'll come back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I guess like I've noticed a lot of restaurants here do have like a long list of things, and it's surprising like how they even keep up with it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's like, I don't know, how often is someone ordering a certain dish that is so, I don't know, flamboyant or so different, but they still got stock.
Do you try different things much?
I try to. Yeah. You know what I find in Dubai is like the stuff on Deliveroo doesn't seem so appealing. Yeah,
because it doesn't excite you. Like you're looking at a screen.
Yeah, and it's like we always end up ordering like the same thing from Deliveroo. But when we go out to eat, again, it's not even like, again, it's like it's so hard to find these spots. Like, remember I was telling you about Hashmi's?
Yeah.
So like when we found Hashmi's, it was like, this is new, tastes really good. And we're like, there must be other restaurants like Hashmi's that we don't know about that are hidden away.
Hashmi's is another inspiration. Like, I mean, because like you said, like the flavors, the profile, it's like, it's Kenyan, but it's
Indian infused.
Exactly, Indo food. So that flavor profile, like who's serving the community of like aunties and uncles, you know, like who they've
got like a big history from back in Kenya. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I just think to myself, like, we just haven't explored enough, but we don't know where to go. And a lot of these food blog pages only kind of go to like the hot spots.
Trending.
Do you know what I mean? Our palate may have increased in terms of trying things like sushi and prawns and certain dishes. But in terms of like exploring different restaurants, we haven't got there yet.
Yeah, I just passed a really cool Chinese looking one on the way here. Did you see it?
No. We came through, for us, it took us all the way through Jebel Ali.
Yeah, we should go back.
Waka?
No, it was Wama.
Wagamama.
Just around the corner from here. It looked really interesting, like a little hole in the wall kind of a place. We should go check it out.
Yeah, I'm done. If it opens up my palate a little bit, I'm down. I wanna move on to talking about a bit of overcoming like childhood challenges. Obviously, growing a business is never easy. Was there any kind of lessons or challenges from younger years that prepared you or helped you navigate obstacles like with Drip Burger or any kind of business you've done?
Like, let's see. I have to think about this one a little bit.
Like, did your dad teach you how to manage money properly? Did your mum teach you how to treat people better? Whatever, like, like
what I can say is like my dad definitely inspired the entrepreneur in me. Like, I consistently had that. So it was once I graduated, the very first thing I did was start a jewelry business, and I did that in Ireland until I moved to Dubai.
Started what business?
A jewelry business.
Oh, okay.
It was called Starlit Jewelry. So I did that before coming here, and actually it did really well as well. But I've just always wanted to had this in me, like this entrepreneurial, like always start your own, do your own. Never thought of like, oh, I'm going to go get a job and do XYZ. I mean, I've had lots of jobs, done them all. But like in terms of, like my mum definitely taught me to work hard. Like she had 3 different jobs. She was always like, get your own. Money is your freedom. So earn your own as well. So that was a big lesson. because otherwise, like, let's say from my dad, you know, he was doing well for himself. Like I went from my mom's house, which was living in a council house with no heating, and living in my dad's house.
Stop. I want to get into that. I don't want to get into it yet.
Yeah, sure.
Because you're going to take away the impact of that.
Okay.
But that story is very interesting, right? And I definitely want to get into that. But one thing before we get into that, I want you to kind of figure this out, is like, because your dad was successful, or is successful, sorry, was there pressure on you to be successful too? Because
that's a good
for
question.
me,
100%.
like, we don't really have anyone successful in our family. So it's like this pressure of failing to be like everyone else.
You helped me figure it out.
You know what I mean?
Okay, so 100%, I put the pressure on myself. I've always had this where I need to do it for me. So my mom always taught me, you need to do it for yourself, right? But my dad always inspired me, like, to want to the entrepreneurial side. So, I mean, if we look at the rest of my siblings, that's not in my sister. Like, she doesn't have this desire to be successful in her own business. It's never been there. I think my brother does. My brothers do, but then the rest of them don't. But because I was a middle child, I was always fighting for the love and attention of everyone else, right? So always trying to be seen, always trying to be heard.
So you're not the oldest? You have
No. So I'm the second oldest.
Okay.
But from my mom and my dad, I grew up in those key years, which are like 1 to 7, where like everything that's around you. Yeah, those are your key years. I was middle child, right? So my eldest sister, loved by everyone. Second child, forgotten about.
Your sister here in Dubai?
No, she's in England now. She's in Manchester. But she was. So she got all the attention, all the love. First child, you know, like absolutely doted on, kind of like Iman now. And now I understand Zara a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then my younger brother. And then when my younger brother came, like it was another shock for me as well. Attention went to him because he's the first boy.
Yeah.
You know, and they wanted a boy. So even at my wedding, this was the funniest thing. I'll never forget the day. My dad made a speech, and I know he had good intentions. He wanted to say more, but where he stopped was really awkward. So he said, you know, when we were younger, I always wanted to have a boy. And so then we had Zara, and it didn't really work out. And I was getting upset. So I was actually emotional. I knew he was going to say, like, I'm so happy and I'm so glad and I'm so proud and all of this. Yeah. But he saw me get upset and he just stopped right there. And then everyone else at the wedding just kind of understood, like, oh, okay, so he wanted a boy. And he just gave a full speech. It's really cringe. But yeah, I was proper middle child. Like, it gave me so many issues. Like,
so as an adult now, though, right? Because what we see from this side, right, is how, like, obviously I haven't seen your older sister, so to me it just looks like you and Amir, right, your brother.
Oh yeah.
So it does seem like, you know, that he leans on you a lot for support, right? But is there like a lot of I don't know, is there like a lot of pressure? Like, one, your dad wanted a boy, so like you're not a boy. Two, the fact that your dad is successful and has a business. I had to
prove myself.
Yeah, because your brother also has a business, right? So it's like,
I felt nobody expected it of me. Nobody expected it of a girl. Nobody expected it of, like, even if in the expectations, it was always, well, the boys are going to do this and the boys are going to do that. Like, teach the boys, give them what they need, you know, because like even culturally, that's just how it happens. And that's how it works. It makes sense. But that's just what I wanted to do. I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to be like, yes, I made it. I did it. Even when things were going bad with the business, like where I was really struggling and I was about to give up, like I actually heard this voice in the back, like just being like, oh, you're a failure, you know, like you're not going to make it, or this is what you wanted to do. And I have to like tell myself that it's okay. Like you're only on your own standards, no one else's. But your own standards are like where you set the bar, and that's why you're pushing yourself and doing it in the first place. And I also, this was another thing that I really learned, was I always saw my dad as, so to be successful, this was a huge block for me. To be successful, it means you have to sacrifice your time with your kids. So being a mom meant, I thought emotionally, like subconsciously, that I needed to sacrifice my time with my daughter. So I was constantly blocking myself, because if I was successful, I wasn't going to have any time for her. I didn't think I could do both. I didn't think it's possible to do both. I didn't think it's like mentally ingrained in me that if you are successful, like my dad, you will not have and do not have any time for your children. Because the only way we spent time with him was if we went to work with him, if we worked with him, right up until like my entire life, until even in Dubai. So when I moved here, I started working with him. I was working in the hotel, then I spent every day with him. It was like my way of like having time with him, yeah? So like I was probably the closest because I literally spent every day. And if you take my dad outside of work, he wouldn't know, he wouldn't have anything else to talk about because he only has work. He doesn't do anything for himself, you know? Now he's kind of taken a step back, but he doesn't know what restaurant to visit. He doesn't have any conversation starters. Like maybe he'll talk about a little bit of cricket, but he didn't have like a lot because you lose, business was life. You know?
But I also feel, you know what, I find myself kind of in a similar position.
Yeah.
Like in it, like I will kind of like spend all my time talking about business, and I'm so passionate about it. Like I'm passionate about what I want to do, what problems I have. I'm passionate about it. But if you want to talk about like what clothes, like if like my missus would say like
anything that gives
shoes,
you a personality.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's not of interest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I also think like, is that a bad thing? In the sense of like,
bad thing, but you know, like you should have balance.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to have balance. Like when I started this business, I stopped having time for myself, stopped prioritizing myself, started putting that like above everything because I felt like it needed the most time.
But it kind of also, don't you think it kind of goes to like the fact that you want it to be successful, so you're just kind of like, while I'm able and young and moving as fast as I can, I just want to get it going so that I can
know, but
relax.
one of the biggest things I've learned recently, and like I guess I've known, but like putting it into action, knowing something but really knowing something is totally different. You don't have to work yourself to death.
It's true.
You don't. That's what I learned from my mom. I think hard work, right? That's what I was saying. I can easily, I believe this now and I didn't believe it before. I can run a business and just do 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
I can make it successful. I didn't believe it before. All this mindset and my shift in my mindset has really made all the difference right now, because I've struggled for the last, like, I think, 1.5, 2 years of understanding that balance between being a mom and all the mental blocks that I have, and fixing, you know, like adjusting my mindset to really believing in myself again and believing that I can do it. I'm currently only working 4 or 5 hours a day. And I'm still now, I've literally just switched all this up, all the changes I was telling you I've made, like came back, closed one of the branches. Like I said, it's a good thing. People hear, oh, you closed a branch. Oh, no. And I'm like, actually, it's a really good thing. And now I'm seeing the success of making all of those changes. That was strangling me. It was taking my time away. I was also in the mindset of like, I need to work extra hours, longer, harder. And then that was even putting more stress on me. But you don't. You can read the book 4 Hour Work Week, you know? It really practically puts things in line for you where you're like, I don't have to kill myself.
I think it's
have both.
I think for me it's like when I put it into perspective, it's crazy. But you know, you're 36, right? And you started this in COVID, which is about 2 years ago. So let's say you started this about 33, 34. And I'm like 28, and I feel like I'm running out of time. But the fact that you started at 33, 34, it puts things into perspective. But I want you to move on to this. You was obviously featured in the Khaliji Times, and I found this interesting thing on there, right? And I wanted to read it to you and also get your take on it.
Okay.
It says, as a child of divorce, Nadia learned important lessons from each of her parents. From her father, a successful entrepreneur, she absorbed the spirits of enterprise while serving as his right hand. From her mother, who refused to accept any financial support from her father, she learned rigid independence. She would always tell us that we had to earn our own money. This lesson became evident to her during her formative years, when she would have to split time between the lavish accommodation with house help provided by her father and the modest apartment without heating in a sketchy neighborhood where her mother lived. It was through these pivotal experiences that I understand that it was always my father's success, never mine.
Yeah.
I want to just quickly dive into that. The fact that you had your dad's lavish lifestyle that you would spend time with and then go to your mum's environment, like how did that affect you as a child? Well, did they get divorced when you was young?
I was 7.
Okay, so like how did that affect you as a child? Like seeing what your dad had and coming home to less, did it make you feel some type of way towards your mum?
Yeah, I had so success, and this is kind of my understanding now, it's like success in life is having if you're talking about financially, right, is having a good relationship with money, right? And what's your mindset towards money? And my mindset was money is bad.
Really, from that?
Because from my mom.
Okay.
Right? My mindset. So like these are all my blocks that I've just been trying to clear now, right? Money is a bad thing. And from my dad, money is great, but it means you work hard and you don't see your family, right? And so like you absorb everything from your parents at that time, right? Subconsciously without realizing it. So you see that success means your dad is not available for you. And then you see from your mom, who is basically saying, she's also saying, yeah, it doesn't give you time, but she's also saying like, she doesn't believe in material wealth. She thinks it's a negative. Like, I don't care about those things. I care about like God, and I care about being happy. And while all of those things are great, why can you not have both? So even though I kind of had both on each side, the mindset from each side was like kind of against each other.
Yeah.
So it was like a constant like battle back and forth of like understanding.
So how has that shaped you today? Like, what's your mindset now about money?
Exactly what I said. You can have it all.
Yeah.
You can have it all. You can do whatever it is that you want if you believe it. Like I don't believe that having material wealth makes you a bad person. It's your intentions behind it, right? If you, what you want to do with the money that you have, if God gives you success, that's for you to have. It's your God-given right. Everyone deserves success, financial success, freedom. There is no one, even if somebody is less fortunate, right, because of their environment and surroundings, with the right mindset, they can also achieve exactly the same. Like my dad actually, I think he came from a well-to-do family, but his dad died when he was 4. But he has always had like this amazing mindset that doesn't stop him, and he's grown by himself completely.
So have you ever thought the fact that, you know, maybe your grandfather, I'm guessing, right, passed away when your dad was 4?
Yeah.
So maybe he never had that time with his dad, so he never understood what time was with
what
family.
What did it mean?
Yeah.
Completely. Like, so there you go again. Like when you're talking about the inner child, those initial years of between 1 to 7, everything that's happening around you, that's what you absorb into your life. And if you really look back and want to understand how you can progress now, you have to look back at, well, what did things mean to you then, and how did you see it, and work on undoing it.
Because I've been exploring a lot of like theories and doing a lot of exercises and stuff that we'll get into, but it's like our childhood, right?
Yeah.
Was one way. Like we grew up, obviously not everyone's child is the same, but we grew up in one way, and then we become an adult, and we neglect what we went through, and then, but it's part of our personality, but we don't understand where it comes from.
Yeah.
So people are judging us based off who we are today, but they don't realize that there's so much that made me this person.
Yeah. I feel like this is funny because like you think maybe you thought it's a little bit of a childish thing to pick this topic. I think it's an amazing thing that you picked this topic. It's a mature thing that you picked this topic. And what I've noticed is so you grow up a certain way, you think that you learn everything, and then you get to your 20s, you just enjoy yourself, you kind of like discover yourself, and then start to understand yourself, and then you hit your 30s and you come into your 30s, and that's where you transform yourself.
That's crazy, because I've been so scared about my 30s.
It's nothing. I've been trying to avoid it. Best years of my life in my 30s.
But then everyone says that about their 40s.
No, well then maybe it's just like you get more and more comfortable in your skin. The transformation is like the epicness of like life, I think, like is to go from whatever you were before, which is really like, it's silly stuff, you know, you don't know anything about yourself. Like you're not in your peak or element. You're only in your peak and element in terms of how you look and how you feel, maybe like physically in the superficial things. But that's why, like, if you can hone that and like embrace that, like when you go through your 30s, it's like amazing. I loved my 30th birthday. I loved being 30. I loved everything that was happening around me at 30. If someone asks me what age I am, I'm not shy to say I'm 36. Like it really doesn't bother me. But I have friends that are like, oh, I'm 31. You know, like they really don't enjoy like sharing that. And I'm like, dude, I want to be 40. I want to still like be saying the same thing. I want to be super positive about it. And it doesn't really mean anything. Like everything is your mindset. Like you are externally what you are internally. So if you're like fearing it, then you should look at it. But what you do now, these are all your steps. You're like starting to like go on your journey, change the narrative.
Which makes a lot of sense. I guess
it like just naturally flows that way.
I guess you're right. I guess I am kind of right now on a journey to kind of just like figure out for me right now, I'm just trying to figure out why I am a certain way today.
Yeah.
And like what led me to that.
Yeah.
Because like my upbringing is a little bit similar to yours, where like my parents got divorced when I was a bit younger. It wasn't a good relationship between both parents. And I was the eldest.
Yeah.
So I was the one that was neglected by given responsibilities too early. And it not neglected in terms of like, oh, go away, but it was like,
you didn't
you're
get
not
the
a child
love.
today.
Yeah, you've grown up really fast. Yeah.
And I had like, I had a younger sister, I had 2 younger brothers. So it's like a lot of that took away my childhood.
Right.
Like even now, right? And I find this crazy, but it's such a common thing and I didn't realize.
Maybe that's why you consider yourself childish.
Yeah.
You're still trying to live back those years.
I will walk into a store and I will see a toy that I would imagine myself playing as a kid. I'm like, I really want that.
No.
And I found out that the reason is because I didn't fulfill it as a child and I'm trying to do it now. But me picking up a toy and going like that at this age, it doesn't make sense. But it's like that urge. I have that urge when I see a toy. Even Lego, right? As a kid, I never played Lego. I never had Lego.
And you want to play with it now?
Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe, and I use an excuse. I'm like, oh, I heard it kind of relaxes you and that. But it's really me tapping to my inner child. Do you have anything that you see that you're like, I didn't have when I was a child? I would love to, like, do you see anything you're like, wow, like, or even stuff you did have as a child and you're like, oh, like this Barbie doll and stuff. Do you have anything that you've come across? Because you have a daughter that you can kind of live through a little bit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like now, it's funny. Like if I had my daughter when I was younger, I would have brought her up very, very different. So like now having her at this age, like I'm in a completely different like place. So I'm like really excited about raising her because it's just like I'll be such a different person. I wonder how our parents did it when they were so young.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. I wouldn't necessarily say like I think the reason I don't have an answer to that is because I put so much of that to bed. Like I went through all the years of like understanding what I didn't have, what I was missing, all the relationship issues. Like, okay, I had a bad relationship with my sister because I always felt like she was always trying to like overshine me. Like this competition between us was a really big thing. This is one thing that we overcame. She was always competing with me. And I was always, and I never wanted to compete because I didn't like the fact that when we were younger, people were always comparing us. They were always like, you're the favorite, you're the favorite, you're the favorite. I was never called the favorite, that like really hurtful. So like anytime if somebody had to, like if now if somebody asks you like, who's your favorite sibling or who's your favorite anything, I don't like to say who it is because I like to be more fair because I'm more mindful of the person who's going to hear that that they're not the favorite. I don't want to upset them. So I would never put people in that position, but she loves to be in that position because she grew up knowing and always owning that she's the best at everything or she's the... And
the rest of us kind of like chase that.
Yeah, those things, they all follow you through life. These are the things you struggle with in your 20s.
I mean, I totally understand that as well. Like my cousin, who's my uncle, but we're the same age, so we kind of say we're cousins. He was always the favorite, no matter where we went. Yeah. And like, I would do the most to not compete with him, but to get that one day, like you're the favorite. And I realized, you know what, at the end of the day, like...
Build your personality type.
Yeah, for sure.
Like even my sister, so this is how we are the way we are. She's really good with people. And I used to think that was a bad thing just because I didn't like the way she was always given so much attention. So because I was the middle child, I didn't get the same attention. So the fact that she has the urge and need to get to whatever she does is driven by getting attention from other people. So she wants to be the favorite. She wants you to like her. She wants to make sure that happens. So she's extra social. She's extra outgoing. She'll give everything of herself. Me, I'm conservative. I'm like, I don't care whether you like me or not, And
so
I mean, deep down I did, but like, that's how I was acting. I would be like, I don't care if I met someone, I wouldn't go the extra mile. I'm not going to kiss ass. I'm not going to suck up. It's either real or it's not, You know, it either flows naturally or it doesn't happen. But like even now I'm even in a way more like her, but with a different intention behind it. Like I don't have any of those hang-ups, but I'm far more social. I went through like a real period of being quite shy, and then now I'm like complete social butterfly. I can talk to anybody, no hang-ups, no question marks, like no insecurity as to why I'm even doing it. I'll just be like right there in your face.
I that's quite interesting. I think I'm gonna look into that as well. The fact that like certain things kind of build your personality.
Oh yeah, completely.
I wanna so there's a little segment I'm trying to introduce. Is like we play a little game.
Yeah.
It's called Child's Play.
Okay.
Right. I'm gonna ask you some questions. I'm gonna say a sentence, and I want you to tell me what's the first thing that comes to your mind, and then I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. So the first one, childhood best friend. What comes to your mind?
Okay, Kimberly.
All right. And how has that relationship influenced the way you build and maintain relationships today?
Actually, yeah. Wow.
Oh, we diving in it.
Oh yeah, didn't think so. I was gonna say that. So, my childhood best friends, because I moved schools a lot.
Yeah, me too.
She was from my Muslim national school. I was only there for like 6 to 8 years, and all my friends from there were all distant because we all went to different schools after. So, but I'm still in touch with them all. So,
are you still in touch with Kimberly?
I'm still in touch with Kimberly.
Nice.
She came to my wedding and everything, but we didn't talk a lot in between for years and years and years. And like, same with lots of friends. So if you ask me how I am with someone now today, for example, my best friend Jamila or my best friend Saf, like Saf's in a different country, Jamila's here, but I still don't reach out to them, and I still don't say like, hey, how are you? Like I try to make a conscious effort more now, but like realistically, I'm fine if like 3 weeks go by and then I'll be like, oh, hey, what's up? I'm not the one that reaches out. I'm not the one that goes, hey, where are you? Because like for me, friendship is, we just pick it up where we left off.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean like I have to constantly like be there, or we need to talk every day or check up on each other.
I've noticed that with you. I feel like even our friendship, right? Like we might not speak for a while, but it doesn't feel like, oh, I haven't spoken to her for a while, so I don't know if we're still good.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
With some friends, you have that, right? You're kind of like, oh, what do they want now? Like they haven't checked in with me in a while, so like, why are, you know? No, I don't have, and I'm the same with other people. Like if they don't hit me up constantly or regularly, I'm okay with that. So it's funny when someone gets offended, or you know, the other way around, and then I only do it to please them. But like realistically, I'm really okay with it. Like I don't have any
so you
issues.
Pick up
like
from where you left off.
Even with my family, like I've traveled, lived abroad for a lot of my life. Like I don't speak to my mum every day. It's actually really bad. I don't speak to my mom. I don't speak to any of these friends that are not here in the country anymore. I don't reach out very regularly. I try to make a bigger effort, but I don't feel like it changes my relationship with those people. Yeah. Maybe from their side, I'm sure they feel it, but from my side,
I think it just comes down to communication as well when it comes to fitness things. Yeah. Second question. What comes to your mind when I say favorite childhood game or activity?
Okay. We used to, this is funny. We used to run around the table and play smack bums.
What?
That's so random. Basically just playing like fun games. So you run around a table. Ours was circular. And so there was 3 of us. So whoever's in front, you have to run and catch the person in front of you while also run away from the person behind you.
Oh, so you're not smacking bums?
Yeah. So you have to smack their bum. Oh. If you smack their bum, it's like you're it, but you smack the bum. So if you touch them, they're out.
Did you make this game up? Was this
we just made
Irish
it up as
thing?
kids. No, just us.
Really?
3 of us, yeah. I don't know anyone else that plays it. Nobody knows what smack bums is. Buy it now, guys, in stores next week.
All right. So the question is, do elements of that game manifest in your adult hobbies, interest, or even your career? And I guess you got to look past the smacking bombs and see other parts of that game. Does it kind of?
Yeah. I guess what I see is the running forward and looking back part. Like, yeah, I think I've noticed that I try to get ahead of myself a little bit too much sometimes, like going at a really fast pace. Maybe you could see it that way. Always running ahead and not looking back. And I try to slow things down now.
And try not to get your bum slapped.
Try not to get out.
Okay, so next question. A childhood achievement you were proud of?
Childhood achievement. Oh, yeah, I won I came second. We won lots of like medals and trophies and stuff like that, but one of the ones that stuck with me was for 200 meter sprint. I came second in All Ireland.
No way.
And they kept my picture in my primary school, and it's still there till today.
You did this in when you was in primary school? Oh, wow.
So then when...
and it's still there till today?
It's still there till today in such a cute little paper clipping. And I should have come first though, honestly. I when the gun went off, I took a second and there was like split hair of a distance between me and first. So I definitely should have won it. But that's fine. And then, so if I walk into that school now, kids actually recognize me.
Really?
I swear to God.
You look the same as you did when you was...
yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay, so then my question to that is, how did that accomplishment shape your perception
okay.
of success and drive in your adult life? Perception.
Well, the running thing, I did say about the running too fast thing. No, I'm joking. Just definitely have it in me to like want to be successful, have that drive, have that motivation. I think that's also where sports really ties into my life. Like, I think part of me growing up in Ireland, I think in my college years, I never found sports that I could clubs that I could join. But as soon as I got to Dubai, it was one of the first things I did. And then I would say that I was active like 5-6 days a week in sports activities. And it builds your mental strength tremendously. So like now, after having my daughter, it was something that I kind of put on the back burner and didn't take as much care of. But I noticed how mentally weak I became.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly.
So you're back to...
Yeah. But I'm taking care of myself in different ways. So obviously not 5 times a week, but I've consistently been doing something, but compared to before, I'm talking 6 days a week, abs, everything, all in check. Now it's it's okay if I don't have abs, but I still have something. It's okay if I'm the right size, it's fine. But it's more about the energy that it gives you and the stress that it releases and the strength that it builds mentally, because when you work out, you're constantly challenging yourself. You're showing up for yourself. You're motivating yourself to get to a place. You set goals that you forget to set in your real life. So it just kind of
you're making me think that I need to start a
Do you ever notice that when quite successful people, not everyone, but very successful people, and where we're talking success is not money, it's across the board, that they always take care of themselves physically. Because so they do everything, a bit of everything, right? They took care of all the different, I think there's 9 aspects of your life that we should really take care of. And when you elevate one, the rest also go with it. So right now I'm elevating my mindset, and it has automatically transferred into being more capable of taking care of my physical. It's become easier now. So everything elevates at the same time. So if you focus on one particular area, automatically a lot of other areas are going to start to improve.
You see how I work is I have to be interested in it.
Yeah.
And if I don't have interest in it,
yeah.
The motivation's not there.
Completely.
And
Do you
struggle.
like sports?
I mean, I like watching. Watching basketball. And things like that. When I was young, I used to play basketball. I used to play football in Germany, so I can't play football anymore. But I just enjoyed. I enjoyed it when I was young, and I think as my adult years gone on, I've been to gym so many times.
So what's your negative? You have something negative towards it, then that's why. So. I just think when I was young, I guess everyone used to call, I was skinny, by the way. Remember how skinny I was? I was you'd think I was running a 5K every day. I was really skinny. That was just your growth spurt, no?
Yeah. And then obviously after a certain age, I think it's just I just got fat.
That way.
And just a belly. But I don't know, I've been trying to figure it out. I just think I think it's just become, I don't think it's to do with the sport itself.
Yeah.
I think it's to do with laziness. The fact that I can't push myself to physically go and run around for like an hour.
Well, I mean,
and
like,
so
I
on.
wouldn't want to do that either. Like,
But like, take me to the
there's
park,
lots of
I'll play football.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
but if you're trying to go like, all not professionals, but you know, like everyone's going there to play football.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't excite me. But it feels like
sounds
family going
like
to
you
the
have
park.
like, if you maybe you have to think back to your inner child then,
Yeah,
and
I know.
kind of figure that out and be like, what is your relationship with physical activity? Why is it okay to have to do something fun in the park, but then not?
You know what you say that, yeah? I just
see?
remembered, yeah. You know, in school, I never did PE.
Yeah.
And like, or anyone that went to my school will know this, yeah.
Why?
I used to, at first, it started off, I used to get heat rash. So then I used that as an excuse. And when my heat rash stopped because I wasn't exercising,
Yeah.
I kept using that excuse and I never did PE throughout the whole thing. And the only time I did PE was when we would play football.
Right.
But you know, you do like
And you love playing football, right?
Yeah, I mean, I used to when I was younger. But you know, in school, it's like you do 4 weeks football, 4 weeks rugby, 4 weeks this and this and that. So like that 4 weeks out of the whole year that I would do football, all of a sudden my heat rash is gone. And then my heat rash is back. But I never did PE at all. So I think maybe it's like...
you need to dig a little bit to find out like what's stopping you.
Yeah, I need to dive deep. Okay. Next question. A place you felt safe or special as a kid, as a child?
With my mom.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so then the question is, as an adult, where do you find that same sense of comfort?
Still with my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also like my husband, anyone who's really close to me. So like I have a few layers. My initial layer, you get to know me, but you never get to know the real me. And I have a lot more layers when we're really close. All boundaries like gone. So there's only a few people that are that close, and I guess that's my safe space. So that's why my inner circle is quite small, but I have a very big outer circle, quite large, where like sometimes people like...
Does that outer circle get invited to
if they
the
want
house?
to be, yeah. If they want to be, yeah. It's totally like...
But like, are you inviting like that, or is it kind of like my inner circle are allowed in my house, and my outer circle we meet up for?
No, I'm open.
Okay.
I'm open.
So they can kind of find their way in.
I think like, so I was, vulnerability is something I've always like, I don't like to be vulnerable in front of people. So like I had a hard time crying in front of people. I remember I used to, wow, I forgot all this. I remember I used to keep my breath in when I would cry because I didn't want to cry as a kid. And my mom would always be like, it's okay, let it out. Like, and I would be like heaving, you know, like,
Yeah.
and then like, you know, it took me ages. I remember like she went through a whole phase with me where I just wouldn't let my tears out. Like I felt like I needed to be strong or something. So that's why she's my safe place. And like, I don't like to cry in front of other people. It makes me feel vulnerable and all of that. But like, I'm a lot more okay with it now. But so to get to that stage where I may cry in front of you, or I may like let you in to know like my deep stuff. Well, before anyway, up until a certain stage. 30s, it's okay. I can tell anyone anything. This is what I'm saying. I'm more like my sister now.
Okay.
She you could meet Zara and she will tell you her whole life story in depth and in detail, and you will all of a sudden feel for her. For me, I'll be like, why are you sharing this stuff?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get what you
now
mean.
I can share this stuff openly, freely, and I won't even think twice. And still probably someone will be looking at me
How many years
going,
older is she than you?
She's 1.5 years.
Okay.
We're really close
Okay.
in age. But yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, so your mum's your comfort zone, your husband, your inner circle.
Yeah.
The next thing is, what comes to mind when I say a childhood role or responsibility in your family?
I didn't have a childhood role, but as we grew up, I became the eldest.
Okay.
So I became the most responsible. Everyone would always think I was the oldest.
Is that because you was working with your dad a lot?
No, before that even me and Zara were both working for my dad. Everyone would just think I was the oldest. So like, that's why I think when you're inside what you are inside is how you are on the outside. Even people think I look older, and they still do. And I'm still the more mature one. It's just how she carried herself and how I carried myself. I was more reserved, more collected, less outgoing, less fun, a little bit more shy, more serious. Definitely more serious. Like I remember everyone just being like, dude, okay. You know, like
Yeah.
I was definitely more serious. Sarah, she could have a laugh, open herself up to everyone. Those were just like my insecurities. But yeah, that's just the way I was.
Okay, so you became the oldest.
Yeah,
right?
far more responsible.
So my question to that is, how has that role shaped your responsibilities or position in your adult, personal and professional life?
Still want to do everything for myself. Still believe in independence. Pretty sure that's another part of why me and my husband like attracted each other anyway. Like I would say admires that. But from an outside perspective, other people would be like, how can you handle a woman who's that strong? If that, like, I'll say strong, they may say controlling, or they may say like bossy. I would get bossy a lot. But in our relationship, it's the opposite. He takes the lead. So it's funny that I have him.
From the outside, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like that. And everyone thinks that. But we laugh internally because we're like, we know that in our relationship, I want to have a husband who can take the lead. I don't want to be doing that. Like, he sees my feminine. Other people don't see it, you know? That's my inner circle. They don't see that on the outside. He knows all of that. I know all of that. And he's amazing with that. But yeah, generally speaking, independent, strong, go-getter, that type of thing.
Nice. The last one is a childhood movie or show you loved. This is going to show your
loads,
age.
so many. Power Rangers,
Hey, what?
TV, Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Power Rangers was my thing when I was a kid.
Yeah, oh my God. Every day, like, we'd go, I forgot
Which one? Mighty Morphin?
Yeah, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. There's another one?
But this is like hundreds after.
That's after. I'm talking about like when
I
we were
grew up
small.
on Mighty Morphin.
Yeah, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Yeah,
and like that.
I didn't know there was a distinction.
Yeah, there's like loads of like other ones after.
Yeah. I didn't even watch them.
But sorry, sorry, I cut you. You hit my childhood
we would
there.
put the VCR in, and we would get home, and we would try to record it every single day because we didn't want to miss it. So it was like on before school, and it was on after school, and like we were addicted. Like we'd come home and we'd put it on, and then we ran out of tapes. So we'd just take old tapes and record the new one, and then put new Power Rangers and just keep recording.
Power Rangers was my thing. Like,
yeah, I loved it.
You've heard it in my family. Yeah, like
what was the evil guy's name again?
Tommy.
Huh?
Tommy. Yeah.
The evil guy.
The one that turned good. He was a Green Ranger.
No, not the Ranger. Oh. The dark, the evil guy.
Queen. There was like Queen Rita.
The enemy.
Yeah, there was the woman that was Queen Rita.
The woman. Wow, I forgot.
And then there was a guy who was like Zorg or something.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Zorg?
Yeah.
Okay, that guy. I'm going to look this up after.
You just touched my, yeah. Okay, but the question that I was going to ask is, are there themes or characters or morals from that show that resonate in your adult life?
I mean, maybe siblings. Like I see like the team effort in the siblings and everyone being a little bit different, but still trying to be the same. So you can take it from like that perspective.
You know, that's crazy you say that, right?
Because there was always a favorite there as well. Remember who was your favorite Power Ranger?
Yeah, mine was the White Ranger.
Yours was it?
The white one.
The white one.
Yeah, the green and then he turned white.
Mine, yeah.
Yours probably pink.
No,
you don't seem like a pink one. You seem like you would have been like blue or yellow.
I think I did go for pink in the end because everyone else went for pink, but I don't.
You don't look like a blue one.
I wasn't a blue. I think maybe yellow.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe
like
I just
like
fluctuated. See, I wouldn't pick a favorite. Look, even now I don't have an answer. I don't think I picked a favorite. Actually, so since we're saying this, even if so my sister, she had favorites of everything, like Liverpool fan till she dies, like Backstreet Boys, Boyzone, everything. I think I never had a favorite in anything growing up, like even in music. Like I love music, but I didn't even have a favorite artist.
Really?
Like, yeah. I think the only favorite artist I can say, and I'll still say it, is like I was in love with Usher for one period of time. And then that was it. Yeah, I have this thing. I guess you can pick a favorite. It's okay.
I guess that's I guess it could definitely stem from the fact that, you know, you didn't want to be compared to your sister and
completely.
You wanted to be a standalone person. And maybe that feeling you realize what it felt like, so you don't do it to anyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
But one thing I wanted to say is that you know what I realized, right? I met your younger sister the other day, and I met your younger brother before, and then obviously Amir as well, that's here.
Yeah.
And it's like night and day, right?
Yes.
So the question came to me. Your younger siblings, their parents are still together, right?
Yeah.
So that like it kind of made me think like they are so different to both of you, right?
Completely.
But the fact that you guys still connect like as if it's like nothing, like you've got the same parents, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But do you see like, do you kind of see different personalities based on the fact that like, you know, you had to go from, you know, your dad's house to your mum's house?
Totally. We are
like
so different because of how we're raised, the environment that we're raised in. Like they're raised here. Like these things that I'm talking about in terms of success and financial, nothing to them. Their success will just flow.
Yeah.
Because they had a completely different relationship with money.
Because they're more into like the education side, right?
Yeah. So then that's from their mom. For us, education was like, my dad obviously wanted us to be like typical Pakistani, like get the good grades. Like I remember my sister had to repeat her final year because she didn't get enough points that she wanted for uni for the course that she wanted. She still did really well, but she felt embarrassed and as if my dad like wasn't happy with it.
Yeah.
So for my dad, it was there, but he didn't like push us to make sure we got the right education. That was for my mom to do. And for mom, it was be whatever you want to be, you know? That's why I was an artist, you know? My mom was like, yeah, it's fine. Whatever you want to do, as long as you love it, I'm happy for you. And that's kind of how it went. So like in that sense, we were not the disciplined ones who got like great educations. We got really good educations. Not saying that we didn't. We're all well educated, but it's not in the typical Pakistani sense where it's like, you know, the other three are, one's a doctor, one's a lawyer.
Yeah.
And
one's in business.
Yeah. So Zara, she got her master's. Like she did that but she did it for herself, you know? And then she did nothing with her related to her master's straight after. I did a fine art degree and I did nothing related to art as soon as I finished.
The reason why I say that is because you can see the night and day between you who grew up from divorced parents, your siblings who grew up from parents' houses together.
Yeah.
Whereas your daughter now is going to grow up with their parents together, inshallah. That is the case.
Yeah.
Where do you see Iman kind of, like, where do you see she's going to fall under? Like, do you feel like you're going to install the stuff that your father gave? Because I know, like, Latif's got, like, your husband's got, like, a whole different teaching and upbringing, and they're very, like, family.
Very family, yeah.
So, like, how do you see, like, Iman growing up to be? Like what?
Yeah, I mean, so this is what I was saying. If I was 26, she'd be a very different person.
Yeah.
You know, like, if I was having her back then, but like we're talking now, and now the exciting part is that I've gone through a lot of these processes and kind of shed a lot of my baggage and kind of, you know, not everything for sure. But like what I've learned is a lot of the stuff comes from generations, right? Like it passes on. So the same way you're saying it'll come from my dad to me and then I'll pass it to her. Like a lot of that now I won't be passing to her, inshallah, and I'll hopefully be passing a much more together look in life. But I know that you there's no way you can be perfect as parents. And the other thing I really learned is actually from Latif, which is each kid has their own personality as well. So like even if like no matter what you try to do to like be there for them or like, you know, make sure that, okay, well my parents did this to me unintentionally, I don't want to make the same mistake. So you can like try to curb that. But the child has their own personality.
Yeah.
You know, they're still going to pick up things differently than you're ever going to expect. They're still going to like, you know, you don't even know what they're going to pick up. You have no way of knowing that. So like I remember somebody telling me that they, one of the things that happened to them was not from their parents. It was their aunt said something to them and it really affected them and their relationship with men. From then on, going forward, when they look back at their childhood. So like you can't like, you know, protect or shelter any of that. I think this is the way life is supposed to be, you know. You grow up with the parents you have, you're grateful for them. You grow up and then it's your turn to do your own growing and kind of like step into your own space and kind of transform yourself. And then I think one of the most important things that I will impart to my daughter is to make sure that she just has a really good relationship with God. And she has a good understanding of that spiritually, not just the typical learnings. I think that was a huge thing missing for us when we were a kid, was we understood Islam through what they teach in schools, good, bad, all the things that you're going to be punished for and all the things that, you know, and like, it was always like, a disciplined thing. Discipline is important, but you didn't understand like really why you're doing it, and you didn't like feel it in your heart in the same way. I think I'm going to make sure that she really understands that. But she has an amazing base with his family because they're so into their faith. I don't think I have an issue there. I think she's going to have an amazing life.
Inshallah. I definitely think so too. All right, so we're coming to the end.
Yeah.
And to end the podcast, I want to do this little exercise.
Okay.
Right? So lean back. And I want you to close your eyes. Bring the mic close.
Did you know he was doing this?
Okay. Bring the mic closer to you a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so I want you to close your eyes. Now imagine your bedroom door you had as a child. So what did that door look like, right? Can you see it?
A lot of doors.
But the first one that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Think about that one, right? Go inside that door and you see your child self sitting there. The 6-year-old, the 7-year-old, whatever age you're seeing right now. What would you say to that child right now?
Yeah, I guess I would give her a hug. I'll tell her everything is okay and you don't have to be the favorite. Everyone loves you just as much. And even though they don't know how to express it, you're just as important as everyone else.
Nice. I like that. It's crazy because there's this. I feel like there's two ways that could go, and you went the one way. Are you crying?
No, but I have my eyes are wet.
Wow,
I felt it.
I hope you're gonna uncover. That's my first crier. I did this exercise with two boys, a friend of mine in the first episode, and one of them kind of did what you did, and they kind of just felt like they had something they wanted to kind of say to them, right? And the other one felt like he had nothing to say to him because his childhood wasn't bad. So it was kind of like for him was like, I just want to go play with him.
Yeah.
Like pick him up and like, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, so it's like, I guess you can see.
That's what the balanced life is. There are people that grow up with a very stable home and are very, very balanced people. My friend Jamila, I think she always says that her partner is very much so like that. Grew up in a stable home, doesn't really have any of these issues. Like if you speak to him, he doesn't have like, I don't know, you know in relationships, like you go back and forth with like, everyone has their drama, right, that they create, right? Oh, women are like this, men are like this, my husband's not doing that, my wife's like this. You know, like all of this back and forth with him, he's able to like conversate, talk. He's very balanced. He's really relaxed. He doesn't have those issues.
Really?
Yeah, really. Like, I mean, I'm sure he has something, but generally speaking, quite a balanced person.
You know what's crazy, right? Just to, on the last note is when I was in school, I'd never told anyone my parents were divorced. And a lot of these... I
didn't know your parents were divorced. I think I just learned that now. Or did you?
Yeah, I don't really talk about it. No,
okay.
I don't really mention it. Yeah. Like I won't just like, hey, my parents are divorced.
Yeah.
But if it comes to conversation, yeah. But in school, I never really told anyone my parents were divorced. And what I used to do is, because all of my friends, right, they're all like, all my friends are like from Jamaica, Nigeria, Africa, and those sides. And a lot of them didn't have both parents.
Yeah.
And then like the white people in my school had both parents. So what I would do, and for us it was night and day, like we just saw these kids having the latest iPhone, Blackberries, and like had the latest things. And I thought so what I used to do is I used to figure out a way to go and get this Blackberry and pretend like my parents gave it to me.
Aww.
And I used to like pretend like my both parents were together.
Yeah.
And I think my mum slipped up one time in, like I was doing really bad in my grades.
Right.
And in parents' evening, my mum kind of just slipped up and said, yeah, like his dad's not around at the moment and da-da-da-da-da. And it all came out from there because someone, like a friend of mine heard from the other side. And I just remember that and I was just like, wow, like I tried to make it look like I came from a stable family for so long. Yeah. That I think I hurt myself in the sense of like, I created this thing that I wanted that now I'm just like, damn, like I wish I had that. Yeah. And what you're saying as well, like, you know, when you have like your both parents around and one of the parents around, when you're a child, like closing your eyes and looking at that child, I think that's when you can see the true feeling of like
what they're going through.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to say thank you for
thank you very
coming
much.
on.
That was really great.
coming on the show. And honestly, look, thank you for, letting us into your family as well. That's one of the things I always thank you for, bringing us into your family, treating us like family.
You guys
Latif,
are always welcome.
And we really appreciate that. Is there anything you want to plug? Where can they find you on socials? Where can they find Drip Burgers?
I'm private on my socials, but I have
I know you didn't accept my business page.
Oh, did I not?
No.
Oh, sorry. I haven't seen. I was private for the longest time, and then I opened it up last year, and then it was like, oh wow, this is crazy. Closed it back. You can find me at Nadia Nads _ and that's my Instagram. Then I don't really use much else in Snapchat. Kind of just keep that with people I know.
What about Drip Burgers?
Drip Burgers, eat.dripburgers.
Okay, I'll put it in the link
on social
anyway.
media. Yeah, so that's.
And where can they find Drip Burgers? Like how can they eat a burger from
So
Drip
you
Burgers?
can order online. You can order through chat food. If you Google us, there'll be a link. If you go to our Instagram, there'll be a link on the page also. And you can go to Arjan, which is our location, which is Al Barsha.
What's that burger that I had when I came? Remember when I came and visited you?
Yeah, which one?
It was did I ever mention Dynamite something? Is it a Dynamite one?
Was it chicken?
Chicken.
Did you have honey sriracha or classic?
Classic.
Okay.
Oh, that was the best burger I had,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I keep saying to him like,
okay, I'm glad.
I need to go. I need to go and get it. We was gonna come yesterday, but we got very busy.
Come anytime.
But yeah, again, thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
And I hope
I have lots of follow-up questions for you after this as well.
Yeah, we'll talk off camera.
Yes, exactly.
All right, everyone, give a round of applause for Nadia.
Thank you.
Oh, how was that?
That was good. Very nice.
Yeah.